Ryan Taffazoni, take a bow, lad. What an absolutely awesome cross you made to enable Maddison to turn it home. Amazing. This is TalkPosh. Hello and welcome to TalkPosh, supported by our friends at the Serpentine Green Shopping Centre. Tonight we bask in the glory of beating the team that were on par with Manchester City before Saturday. We discuss how we can take 6 points off the top two, but lose to the rubbish that is Oldham and Gillingham. And we drool over that goal by Marcus Maddison. We are back to full strength in the studio tonight. Evening, boys.
Evening.
If you want to let us know your thoughts on Saturday's game, you can comment on the feed below, or if you are watching on YouTube, you can tweet us at TalkPosh. Okay, lads, from not winning in 5, we go and beat the undefeated Shrews. Before we get into it, though, I just wanted to give the lads on the Shrews podcast, I don't know if you know this, but I've done a little 1 minute preview of the game. They put it on their show. I predicted that we'd win the game, and do you know what they called me afterwards? A mug for predicting that we would beat them. And we went and beat them, so that one's for you guys. Good.
You've been called worse, to be fair.
That is true. Anyway, let's talk about the game then. Typical Posh, isn't it? Winning against Shrewsbury. Del?
Well, I think we all said I went for a 4-2 win. Weren't quite close enough, but I just had a feeling we weren't going to lose the game. I wasn't sure we were going to win it, but I didn't think we'd lose it. We do better against the top teams. I was happy with it. The performance was superb, I thought. Without being spectacular. Does that make sense? It seemed as though we battled. We closed them down. We defended from the front. And no, it was a very, very good win. I'm pleased with it.
Good. So the only reason I'm just not thinking, because someone said the sound is not very good. Alex? Is it okay?
Fine, I'm listening to it.
Okay. Trevor, if you could let us know why the sound isn't that good. Or was it just Del you was on about? He's not very good. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but, you know.
Blame Del.
Blame Del.
Yeah,
blame Del.
Blame Del. Oh, funny people.
Anyway, let's move on to Chris. Chris, what do you think about Saturday's game? You're happy with the result, obviously.
Yeah, I think Del hit the nail on the head, really. We've ground out a result that we needed to. We've stopped the rot a bit. We didn't play fantastically by any means, but, you know, we did some of the basics right. We got an early goal. We managed to keep a clean sheet. We withheld the pressure that they put on us towards the end kind of thing. It was just basic things, really, that went well for us.
That's exactly it. What we've done is we matched exactly what Shrewsbury did. You know, I don't think they're a fantastic team, but you can see why they are where they are because of the way they work as a team. They were defending from the front. They was closing the players down. And I thought, from our point of view, I think that's the best we've done it all season. You know, and I include everybody in that. Madison. Whilst Madison didn't really win any tackles, getting back to make to have the presence of being there, you know, is what we needed to do. It just showed willing, and I actually thought it was encouraging to see that we could do it. We just need to keep that going. I think there's a bit of complacency slipped in, thinking, "Oh, we're Peterborough, we're top of the league. We can just sort of like, you know, soak up a bit of pressure. We ain't got to track back. We haven't got to defend from the front." But on Saturday, everyone to a man done their job. And it was encouraging to see. It was really good.
I think from the defensive perspective as well, I think Doherty and Grant reformed that kind of partnership that we had earlier on in the season that seemed to work so well for us. And I must give dues to McCann. I think switching Taylor and Baldwin round in defence was a great shout.
One thing I will highlight, though, is what I did notice is whilst the players were tracking back, and I mean, they was putting the effort in to get back, it highlighted just how slow Doughty was. Or was that just me?
To be honest, what he was doing was covering for
It was superb.
He was, for me, he was the man of the match.
Yeah,
a few of us said Doughty.
I actually went Madison.
All the Norwegians behind us, we said they were going to choose Madison because they were APAC sponsoring it. But Doughty was the standout one. He had the best performance since he's been at the club.
It was, but I'm not knocking him for being slow. But it highlighted he is quite slow.
He was just coming back from injury as well.
Yeah, possibly, but he was tracking everything back. He was not giving up on a single thing. Yeah. You know, and you know, with Grant doing it as well, needs to cut out the silly little sort of the pushes. But there we go.
After you got that book, the next challenge he ran into. Oh Christ, our heart was in.
I think a stronger referee or a different referee, there could have been 2 or 3 red cards on Saturday for them and us. you know,
Mostly for them, to be honest. He was so lenient.
Strong, I think, determined better referee because he was atrocious.
I think the thing we need to look at is just look at, so if we're going about commitment and the effort which we put in on Saturday, when that final whistle went, I think there was only about 2 Posh players that weren't on the floor. They were all absolutely shattered.
Marriott couldn't even run in that last couple of minutes.
I don't know how he got off the pitch.
Marriott, he looked at when he got
Harrison.
Tired. Marriott, mate, he pot shifting without getting too much success. You know, he battled for absolutely everything. He got a knock with about 10 minutes to go. He looked in agony. I probably couldn't even run.
So would you say the difference between this game and the games that we played before then, was that the difference, the work rate, the what the players were doing?
As it Bleedsdale would say,
They
fucking battled, and I do apologise for chucking 50p in. But I'm only quoting. Yeah. We battled, and that's what got us a win. You know, it wasn't the flair play, it wasn't obviously the spectacular goal. It was the fact we battled, and we really did battle.
So why can we battle against them teams? Why can we beat the top 2 that we have done, Wigan and Shrewsbury? Why can we do that and then lose, Adam, to Gillingham, to Oldham, lose to all them teams down the bottom?
Because I think Shrewsbury played in the way that we like to play against. We didn't get a minute off the ball on Saturday, and I said this to the guys that were sat next to me. Shrewsbury weren't a fantastic side in my eyes. They were very built, and there was more. They were looking for the cross into the box to get the headers, which is a lot of their goals have come from this season.
Which is how you want to play against us as well. If you've been watching us.
Whereas you look at Oldham and Gillingham, they're very one-touch football, and we've said on the show quite a few times, it's always the second ball which we're struggling with, and I think. But then again, we say this. Surely we'd have fixed it now, because it's been about for the last 4 or 5 seasons, we've always been better against the top teams.
Well, that was the most frustrating thing about this. The fact we went into the game. You'd never seen such optimism. But we were all pretty positive that we were going to get something out of it, because we know the team. We know who we do bad against, and we know that when we play those top teams, we are going to raise our game.
But why is that? I mean, because we are, or we should be, a top team. So why, I guess that's what you're alluding to. Like teams maybe do come to us and play.
You say we should be a top team. We shouldn't be a top team just because we're Peterborough. We need to earn the respect and the right to be a top team, and we've shown with some games we have the ability to be a top team. But to be a permanent top team, keep repeating that, we have to be consistent.
Consistency,
and, say why we're different against Shrewsbury to previous games. I think Grant's got to take a lot of credit for that as well, to be fair, because he's a manager, he had to get him up. And again, we go back to the captain scenario. Taylor at the back, I thought, had a superb game. He was just, his body language, his movement, his shouting was encouraging. And even Baldwin, superb. I enjoyed the battle quality. The performance wasn't spectacular. It was a good battling performance.
But there was also, sorry, go on.
That's what's going to win your games, if you match them up.
There was also nothing to, there was no individual errors to be punished.
And we've talked about that before on the show, haven't we, about individual errors?
We don't make individual errors, we didn't concede.
But do you know what? Well, I mean, we've been the ones that have actually said it, but over the last 5-6 games, we've actually noticed that Tafazoli and Baldwin have made individual errors. Stephen Taylor hasn't actually made an error, and to put Stephen Taylor in the middle of them both, sort of, he had that space to cover them, and I think it was, even though it wasn't a massive change, I think it was a big change.
Do you know what he can do? That.
Yeah.
Arm around each of them in that position.
And because Stephen Taylor's got the experience, and I'm very surprised that he wasn't actually put in that position.
I agree. Also, you'd put the slowest of your 3 in that position normally, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because Baldwin and Taff can actually, because Baldwin is naturally right-footed, Tafazoli is naturally left-footed. He can help them wing-backs if we are going to play the wing-back system. Now, I mean, before the game, when we asked Grant what position Leo was playing in and it was right wing-back, we was like, okay, here we go again. But that formation, to me, was the best formation and the best way that we played this season against top of the league.
You couldn't find fault with any players, and I mean any players. I thought Leo had a decent game as well. From a defensive point of view, he was not spectacular, but he done what he had to do. And when he had a little nice bursting run, the change of pace that he found, just messed it up a little bit at the end there, but he come from nowhere, didn't he? Did you see that little run he had?
Yeah, that was a good one.
in the first half.
Yeah.
Let's go to
I do apologise.
We are sorry.
let's go to Chris. Chris, what's going on?
Yeah, people just kind of agreeing really that the work rate and effort of the team was just fantastic. I think to go on that topic as well, I think it's the first time for a long time that I've seen us give a full 90 minutes worth of effort like that. We had a couple of games earlier on in the season where it was like, we were poor one half and the second half we suddenly pulled it out. We were there from the word go.
And if you think about it, it was 8 minutes added time we had played in the end on Saturday and 2, and so we actually played 100 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can't recall 1 minute where we didn't. We just didn't look.
Couple of people.
We didn't look in danger. For all their sort of closing us down, the pressing. Could anybody actually remember like a decent chance they had?
They didn't look like a team that had been unbeaten. I think they did have a little bit of an off day.
I mean, I did have to actually have a look because I was going to say this, but they actually only had 3 less shots than us all game. And it's like,
well, Bond did make a couple of decent
he did, yeah. And I mean, like I say, and that, but yet again, it wasn't like a long range effort from them outside the box, which is I think how Shrewsbury have been playing this season. You said to me at half time, I'm worried for his second half.
Because we played well in the first.
We did. And
we played well in one half. It's the second half.
And it's not just that Shrewsbury are automatically a second half team. The amount of late goals they've got this season already.
Yeah, sorry, just come back to me. Yeah, where
you said it was like 45 to 55 minutes.
If we went in ahead, especially, they were going to come out. They were really going to be coming out to attack to get something back into it. So yeah, I thought they were going to put us under pressure.
But then, how disappointing is it? Is that the fact that you go back to when there was attacking at probably 75 minutes onwards. Marriott had that chance in the second half where, let's be honest, he should have played it across to Guion. That we'd be talking about a 2-0 win. And then Guion obviously gets that second chance, but he was just absolutely knackered. He couldn't even pull his left leg back.
No, that was.
We realistically should be talking about a 3-0 win against Shrewsbury. Now, how much of a difference that have been?
Yeah, win's a win. Let's take a win. But
win's a win.
It is, and the pressure though is quite honest. Their goalkeeper playing at right wing, as we were talking about earlier. Fair play. They wanted that draw, and what I like that about them, they weren't happy to have. Obviously, they don't want to lose, but they didn't want to lose that unbeaten run, did they? They was chucking everything at us in the last 10 minutes.
Shrewsbury's club record was 16.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Well,
so they'd have equalled their club record if they didn't lose.
Maybe they had a bit of pressure with
so
that.
So just going back to the Shrewsbury podcast, people, now they're the mugs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
Chris, Paul, I think, made quite an interesting thing, and just agreeing with us in terms of, he said complacency and consistency, I think, is the issue. Complacent going into so-called games we should win, and consistency in terms of getting the same players on the pitch to reap the rewards in the results. I think that's quite a good. That's how I would probably do it.
I know we'll touch on it later on in the show, but I know we're going into the FA Cup this weekend, but I do kind of hope we put the same team out again, just to get that momentum building.
Well, we will talk about that later, Chris, and it'll be interesting. Well, we can't not talk about the absolute wonder strike for Marcus Maddison, boys. I mean,
it was a miss.
Unbelievable.
Now, to be fair, I tweeted straight out, oh my God, with another
save yourself some money there.
I did save myself some money. If anybody only saw it on TV, honestly, it doesn't do it justice. Just how the technique and the bend on that ball, the way it's come across. If you do get to see it, have a look at the view from behind the goal. Makes it a little bit clearer.
If you saw it from the main stand, if you're in that motor point with it coming towards you, it was lovely to watch.
It was definitely goal of the season.
Yeah.
So far.
Then you've got the debate, obviously, of Boyd or.
There's no debate.
Mine is Boyd.
I don't think there's any debate because mine's Boyd.
There's no debate. It's got to be Boyd. The reason it's got to be George Boyd is because it is against Huddersfield for a start off, and I hate Huddersfield with an absolute passion. So anyway, now Boyd was better.
So he played up front, didn't he, with Marriott? I mean, he's a bit of a free spirit, and when that's how he interpreted like that. But really, he's quite. I think that's how Maddison plays the best. I believe when he's not really in one position. He was said he was up front, but really he was all there.
Yeah, he wasn't even 10 because Guion was 10.
Yeah. Exactly, Guion was in 10. So I kind of like that.
It gave free fluidity in the front role, really, for him.
I said this to Ben when we first came out. We was very narrow because it was like we had Marriott up top on his own, we had Maddison and Guion behind, and then we had Doughty and Grant all almost behind Maddison and Marriott. So it was like it was sort of a very thin midfield. But it was just, to me, it was a completely different formation we played on Saturday with the sort of the four in the centre, very narrow, and Leo and Hughes on the wings. I thought
There was that occasion. I think there was an occasional moment where we got the ball up front and Mario and Guillaume pretty much ran to the same spot, like calling for the ball. There was just nobody in the box to cross it to.
Yeah.
And I think it's just getting familiar with the roles that they're playing now.
Yeah.
That'll come naturally
Of course,
after a while. But yeah, I think as well, if we're going to have people bombing down the wings either side and playing those narrow players down, I don't think causes too much problem.
What do we think of Edwards playing in behind the front two, then playing in that number 10 role?
It's not his best position, but he's one of those players. I honestly think you could stick him anywhere from the wing-back positions, anywhere in the midfield, just behind the strikers. He'll fit in anywhere and do a job, yeah.
The only thing which I would say about Guillaume being there is because it wasn't his natural position. I mean, he got balked. He had a warning after about 50 minutes, and we said, he needs to be careful here. Because he's trying extra hard, it was almost like it was a risky position for him. But then again, we're going off a referee that's issued 46 yellow cards.
That's what I was going to say. He'd given a ridiculous
amount of
yellow
It could have been a lot more yellow cards.
Yeah.
Well, we said it earlier, it could have been a lot more. But, overall, a good battling performance by all of them. Maddison, I actually, as I said, I give Maddison man of the match, not just for his goal. I actually was impressed with his work rate. It was as if it was the start of the season again. We was all sort of singing him up about his work rate, how well he sort of changed his attitude.
Looks happy to be playing.
Then he went through a dip and I started moaning about him again. But Saturday, he was back up there. And that's a Maddison we want to see.
Just had a message off my Shrewsbury mate who's watching. He said, "We're mugs, but we're top of the league mugs."
Not for long.
He's not for now.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Just want to. We have spoke about Lopez, and I know there's people on the feeds talking about him as well. But a bit like Maddison, probably more so this season. I think Lopez is dividing the fans that go and watch. I think some people really think he should be playing at wing back. Some people think he should be playing centre midfield.
I don't think anyone really thinks he should be playing at wing back.
I mean, but there are people that have said that. I mean. But and dividing on how he plays as well. So what's the general consensus
I divide myself
in the studio?
Yeah. Some weeks I love him. Some weeks I think he's a waste of space. But it's not necessarily his fault for playing in the wrong position. We've all said when he sort of come the last few games, apart from this weekend, when he's coming as sub, he's coming as sort of the midfield role. He's been superb. But playing right wing back is just not his strong position. He'll try and he'll put an effort in, but sometimes it ain't good enough.
But if you can play right wing back like he did on Saturday against the league leaders,
well. Yes,
the best team in the league at the minute, he plays well.
But when we saw the lineup, it was just an assumption up there that Guillaume was going to play in that role and Leo was going to be the number 10 role.
I think
which is what you
we
were
put about
saying.
7 formations together, me and you.
Yeah.
But if I go on the last 2 games that I've seen, so obviously I didn't go to Scunthorpe, so I didn't see him. But Southend, where he played in the number 10 role, I thought he played really well. And Saturday, when he played in the right wing back role, I thought he played well. So we can't slate him for the last.
It's his best game that he's had playing it right.
In that position, that's fair enough. So,
we touched on it earlier as well. Switching Baldwin and Taylor
may have helped.
meant he's got someone probably a bit better going out to the wing behind him.
Captain. So
Captain.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Just on that Baldwin, actually, someone did mention him earlier. I can't. Really bad because I can't remember where it is. I think it was Tommy Roberts. Jack Baldwin, yes or no? Personally, never in my starting lineup. Gave the ball away so many times. A better team attacking wise would slaughter them opportunities.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a better team attacking wise when you are playing the best as such? I thought, yes, yet again, he did give a couple of sloppy balls away. But
so did Taylor. So really fair.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. So did Taylor and so did Tapasoli. I think everyone did. But because there's been a little bit of slating from onto Baldwin, it's stood out more, if that makes sense.
I just want to talk about Tapasoli very quickly about a rule. Now, if the physio comes on, isn't the player meant to go off?
Oh, yeah.
So how did Tapasoli manage to stay on?
They had one of
their guys as well.
What's that?
We think there's a new rule coming in.
I think
it's
there's
to the referee's discretion or something.
It's not just me that saw that.
No.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
Yeah, we were talking about.
I spotted it to Ben about that there was
You are, mate.
Anyway, move on.
No, I spotted it to Ben that one of their players went down quite seriously. He came on and then didn't go off, and I was like, I swear he didn't go off. But then he took the free kick, and I was like,
and then he kept making Tapasoli go off because obviously he was.
Well, the Shrewsbury fans really took a dislike to him.
I don't even know. It looked like a nothing challenge that
It did,
sort of
yeah.
cut him.
Yeah.
It looked like he just had the back of his head brushed, but it was enough
It was bleeding.
to split him open.
It was bleeding, yeah.
So the petulance in me would have said, go down on the pitch. And the referee's saying your head's bleeding, you need to go on the pitch. I'd have sat down on the pitch and the physio do as much work as possible on my head before I got to the side so I can run straight back on, especially if we've got a free kick.
But having said that, when the player did have to go off, it was straight back on before, as soon as, as soon as play started, I'll come back on. Because normally some refs get a bit, you wait there. But no, that's straight on. The referee's atrocious, to be fair.
So, JB, yes or no?
Yeah. I'm going to say yes, because I see potential there. He has made a few errors, but...
Why change
it's a yes from me.
Why change something when it's not broken? Obviously on Saturday all
I think when we played the best this season, he's been in the team, so...
One's based on formation. If we're playing two at the back, no. If we're playing three, then
yes.
We didn't have any fan interviews this week, but we did have some tweets that went out. And here were... We asked people to sum up what they thought of Saturday's game. If Alex can put it on the screen. There's a couple of... tweets out there, Alex. Can you read them? Hopefully they'll be able to hear.
Can you read the
so
top
it
left hand
was
side?
for one word. There was supercalifragilistic.
Super what? Super what?
You heard me. Battling, breathtaking, committed, needed, better, relief, and nail biting.
Nice.
And I think it was well needed because, like I said to you from last week, I went here last week, but it was 1 point out of 15. It was worrying. You know, if we got, I know we weren't going to, but if we got the 15 out of 15, we'd be top of the league. So
unbelievably as well, we're still within touch distance of the playoffs.
Only a point and a game in hand.
The game in hand is against the only team above us who isn't on 16 games anyway. So, we could win that, and I think we could pretty much be in the playoffs if we win that game.
But if you look at the teams that we've lost, we haven't picked up in 5. If we look at them on paper, I'm not going to depress ourselves. We should have. If we got 15 out of the last 15, I know it's after a very good start in August. The 15 wouldn't have been surprising because what we've got: Scunthorpe, Southend, Gillingham, Oxford, and Oldham. Realistically, Oxford I'd have taken. We're probably looking at that's the only defeat that wouldn't turn up. It's disappointing, but I think what we've got to do is now we've got obviously 2 cup games coming up. We've got to just build on them.
We have got to build on them, and obviously, like you said, the FA Cup first round happens on Saturday against Tranmere. To be honest, despite what, thank you very much, it was a good link, wasn't it? Yeah. Despite what some people say, I don't know what you boys think, but I absolutely love the FA Cup. First round, second round, third round. We'll probably speak about that later on, because I think people might have different views to that, especially when we get to the third round, and that all goes wrong after that.
When?
Well, yeah.
It's going wrong now, though.
We've already had that.
We're going wrong now, not January.
True. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, we're going to hear from a Peterborough-based Shrewsbury fan. We'll hear from him.
Tranmere fan.
Did I say
no? Peterborough-based Tranmere fan because we're playing Tranmere at the weekend, aren't we?
Yeah, sorry.
Hashtag blame Dale.
Blame Dale.
Blame me.
Anyway, Tranmere fan, supporter. We'll speak to him in a minute, but first, it's the time, boys. It's the knowing the opposition quiz. Are we ready for this? This is the best part of our show when people switch off and no longer listen. But I know the Paul, who is the Tranmere fan, is watching as well, so he might be able to answer these questions. So we've got Team Bench versus Team Adele. It's 10 questions all about Tranmere Rovers. Right. I'm going to ask Team Bench.
You'll get a bonus point saying you can sit on both of them.
Nice. A or B?
B for Team Bench.
B for Team Bench. First question is a nice and easy question. Although we got caught out with this last week. The ground name, please, lads.
Prenton Park.
Prenton Park, 1-0. Easy question to Team Adele. The manager's name.
Mickey Mellon.
Mickey Mellon, good stuff. 1-1.
You're panicking.
I wouldn't say Tony Mellon. I was like, no, it don't sound like.
I was thinking of bananas for whatever reason.
Question 2. Former managers, this is. So, which former Liverpool and Ireland striker from the 80s managed Tranmere from April 96 to March 2001?
John Aldridge.
John Aldridge, 2-1. Here we go. Former manager for you boys. Which former Scumbridge manager, who won manager of the season for them in 2008-2009, managed Tranmere from May 2015 to September 2016?
It's the
Didn't Dosh.
no.
Whoa!
That's an
That is a big word.
The what?
Oh, got it right.
The old
It's
guy
not
White.
Ronnie Moore, is it?
Tony, you're obsessed with Tony.
I was like Ronnie.
Ronnie Moore. Hang
No.
on.
Oh,
It passes over, do you know?
I struggle to think of a few Scunbridge players. I can't think of the one that the song's usually about. It's not him.
He got manager of the season for Cambridge in 2008-2009. No one's on it at home. Paul Bowers, the Tranmere fan, is not answering either. It was, if you'll give up, Gary Brabin.
So we never got it.
I'd have thought, oh,
There you go. Right. It's 2-1 to Team Bench, and we go back to you boys. Previous games then. So we last played them in League One on 24th August 2013. Who scored our final goal that day?
is that us?
That is.
I think it's Bruce. Because he scored 6 times that season.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Somber longer.
Incorrect.
Mark Little.
Correct.
Well
It's 2-2. And it goes over to
Scored
you
in the
boys.
68th minute as well.
He did. So previous games for you. We last played Tranmere in the FA Cup on the 7th of December 2013.
So right, I was there.
A somber longer got the hat trick.
Who got the
Who
point?
scored the other two?
Sean Jeffers.
Sean Jeffers. Good stuff. So, you
Turn
boys
it
are
around,
3-2 up. Here we go. Question number 4. It's a random question. Tranmere reached the League Cup final in 2000. Who did they play?
You better get it right.
League Cup final 2000. It's all like, no, Golden beat Liverpool, didn't
Leicester or something.
it? Yeah, it's got to be some.
Leicester.
Leicester City. Good answer. Got it right. Here we go.
Was that your guess?
Yes.
100% guess?
No.
Because I said,
Well-
92 clubs you could have chose.
I remember reading something where Leicester was mentioned earlier.
Anyway, revise and move on.
Yeah, move on. Question number 4. And this is to make it 4-3.
No.
In what town are Tranmere Rovers based?
So we're all. Yeah, that'll do.
Birkenhead.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I was hoping you were going to go with that.
Okay, question number 5, and you need this.
Do you want to tell you what the pub's called by outside the ground as well?
Not really.
No?
Don't get a bonus. Okay, so hard question. Manager Mickey Mellon joined Tranmere as manager in 2016. He also played over 160 games for the club, but where did he start his playing career?
Do you do any work on a Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, whilst watching.
I only remember him playing for Blackpool, really.
So Blackpool.
You've got nothing better.
Blackpool.
Incorrect.
Don't need
Passes
it.
over,
Don't need
and
it.
you don't need it anyway. Do you know? Have a guess?
Evan.
No. Bristol City. And just to finish it off, hard question for you, even though you've won anyway. Chairman Mark Palios played for Tranmere in his playing days. But what career did he pursue while still a pro player?
Keep it clean, but just because we don't need it.
An antique shop.
No, there are 2 of them in this room.
Well, doesn't it go over to us?
Yeah, well, yeah,
We're draw
but they've
if we
won
got this
anyway.
right. No,
No,
we
we get
wouldn't.
the old question right.
It'd be a draw if we got it right.
Oh, we went 1 up.
No, they went.
Yeah, they went 1 up, and then if they pass it over to us.
They went
It
2
was
up.
4-3.
Because you got.
Ah, man, what's the score, Alex?
We went 2 up.
What we said?
Alright, we have a guess then.
No, you got to
Right.
what? You went from behind
Okay.
to in front.
Do we guess it?
No, because Dale was already guessed. I'm
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
And I've just gave a massive clue.
I was going to guess it anyway. but
Accountant.
I was going to guess accountant anyway because
This is
Anyway.
the wrong one. So what was it?
I don't.
It's an accountant.
Yay! It's a draw.
So that is a draw.
Can't have it as a draw.
Well, it is. It's
Okay,
4-0.
lads, please. Hang on a second. Right, what's going to happen is Alex is going to make a decision in a minute. But in the meantime, whilst he does that and also thinks of a tie-break question, because I didn't think of one, whilst he does that, we're going to hear from Paul Burrows, the Tranmere fan.
YouTube, mate.
Oh, dearie me.
Tranmere fans.
It's all gone wrong. It is. I do like this. This makes the
I'm
Carabao Cup draw look entertaining. Absolutely correct. Paul, I'm really sorry.
Well,
mate.
we're not. We didn't want
Paul's
to
laughing himself.
Absolutely shocking. What we'll do, Paul, is we'll put that on Twitter.
It'll be on YouTube later.
So no, I believe Alex has got a question.
We'll put that on YouTube, and we'll put that on Twitter as well, Paul. But thank you very much for giving your insight into Tranmere. He's actually based in Peterborough, this lad. So,
I'm spending the last 34 minutes watching this.
and spending all that time for your big moment, probably getting all your family round and everything. And we've absolutely ruined it for you, Paul. So really, really sorry for that, buddy. But we'll get it on Twitter later. Anyway, just going back to the absolutely brilliant thing that was the knowing the opposition quiz. We did decide, while there was no sound on that we was calling it a draw, which means it goes to the tie break, and Alex has a tie break question. Over to you, Alex. Who are you going to ask first?
Well, I had 20 seconds to look for a question, so this is going to be for... Wait, who answered the last question?
It doesn't matter. Just ask the question.
Okay. What was Tranmere's last score, and who did they play?
So 1-2.
It was 4-2.
Against?
Well, that ain't part of it. They've won. All right, we'll move on.
Against Chester.
Halifax.
Halifax was the next again, so it's half point each.
Right, anyway.
I revised loads of questions and everything. You know what I mean? A record FA Cup attendance was against Stoke.
There's only so many questions that we can do, Dalman.
You have to do some work this week.
You know, we
Yeah, that is true.
2-1 in the FA Cup. You know,
Busy day
Maplesmith
today as well.
90th minute, then McLean
How
140.
many times have you actually played Tranmere? FA Cup?
A few.
Yeah, it was a year when I looked back
7.
today. It was true. That's
Yeah.
quite loud.
Okay, anyway.
Played them 7 times in the FA
Well
It's
done.
like Tranmere.
Ian Gow, I don't know. Sorry, don't know about it. Paul Burrows. Yeah, sorry, mate. This is conference standard. Yeah, you're right. And you guys make Ball and Wood look good. Yeah, sorry, mate. Anyway, let's talk about Tranmere coming up then. We already talked about what sort of personnel we might put out. Chris, what are you doing? Are you changing the team? I think you were talking earlier. You might not do that. You wanted consistency and keeping that consistency.
It's awkward, isn't it? Because the next 2 games are FA Cup games, one of which really doesn't matter as much probably as the FA Cup does. But you want that momentum going into the next league game as well. So I'd be tempted to stick with it as it is. And so long as the players are up to it, you know, we'd have said like, Doherty's come back from an injury. So whether you want to play him 2 90-minute games.
The good thing is that we have got a week's break between obviously the trophy game and the cup game.
Yeah.
Personally, because I mean, we're actually still playing for something in the Czech trade against Cambridge, and it's. I just think because of the run that we've been on as well, to beat Cambridge, because it seems like we're actually going to take quite a few there as well, so it's going to be quite a supportive from Peterborough's side. I just think that the Cambridge game is actually quite important to us.
It
and
is.
I would like to see.
Of the games that you're going to weaken your team.
Personally, I'd like to see a few changes for the Tranmere game. That's just personal opinion.
I would agree with that, and the changes I'd make, I've got Kanu in, I've got Miller in, and I've got Danny Lloyd in, because all 3 of them are fantastic about scoring against conference teams from last season.
That's actually good logic.
That's a fair point. So you put Miller in. Is he getting his goal on Saturday?
I'd like to think so.
What did Miller do against Tranmere last season? That would be nice to know.
I don't know. Paul, let us know.
Yeah,
You just said he didn't notch anything.
Notched anything.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go.
I would actually drop Miller.
Quality lad.
Dear.
Maybe give a change at the back then potentially as well, and let someone else have the captaincy off the
I
ball.
don't want to take it too lightly. I want to see a couple of changes, but I want to win the game. You know,
So
so FA Cup, you've got to win it.
And that's the point, and that's what I was going to raise next. The FA Cup, we have talked about it on this show before. When we get to the 3rd round and it's gone wrong and all that kind of stuff, and that was the excuse that a lot of people made, weren't it? After playing Chelsea, after playing West Brom. What do you think? What do you think of FA Cup, boys? Ben, where do you stand with it? Do you want to go on that massive cup then?
It's the FA Cup. I hate the way it's been devalued by the bigger clubs. They're doing it the same way they did with the League Cup. It's the best cup competition in the world. Still is.
It is. I prefer the FA Cup in the earlier rounds than I do the later rounds.
I like facing non-league clubs in the earlier rounds.
You like to see.
I mean, it's always nice. Yeah, it's a nice day out for them. I mean, I did it with Stamford last year as well, where we went up to Hartlepool. Got smashed up there, but It was
That was a
great
great
day out.
day.
So
Yeah,
if we weaken the team, you're looking forward to that Tuesday night in Tranmere away then?
Oh,
That's a long way.
But you see, I
Before
wouldn't weaken
Charlton.
the team personally. I would keep the
Yeah.
same level when we play.
I just
keep going with it.
personally, and I know it's bad, but obviously when we lost to Barnet in that Carabao Cup, quite pleased because I thought we was on. I'm just more worried about the league.
I just think that I think the
honestly
League Cup always comes around too soon.
Yes,
Yeah,
first week.
do you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
it's just
yeah,
too soon.
that's true.
I just personally, if we got knocked out against Saturday, and this is just personal points, I'll probably be a negative. So, but I wouldn't mind too much if we got knocked out on Saturday.
I'd be disappointed if we knocked out
Yeah.
first round.
I would be
I
very
wanna-
disappointed.
Get to at least the third round of the FA Cup.
If you at home will be disappointed, if we went out of the cup, if you'd be disappointed, angry faces. If you don't really mind, you'd rather concentrate on the league. Stick your thumbs up. Be interesting to see what you guys think at home. Mark says, I love a good FA Cup run. Yeah, so do I, mate. Kevin Jackson says, don't want a replay. Absolutely correct.
Oh, that's it.
Paul says, however, he would bring in 3 subs and maybe make a few changes as well. There's a lot of angry faces going on.
Would you change the keeper?
That might be the one
That
of
would
the
be,
biggest
yeah,
things.
We've got to think that
Come,
Bond's loan spells kind of creeping up on us.
I still think there's going to be no problem getting him for the rest of the season.
See,
Let's go back to the FA Cup run. When was the last big FA Cup run that we had?
When we played
West
Brom,
fourth.
yeah.
We
got the fourth,
didn't we?
So prior to that was it 85 when we got knocked out by Leeds in the end 1-0.
But now it's
We got
96.
sorry. We
Oh,
beat,
what was the year?
we beat Leeds 1-0. We got knocked out by Brighton in the replay. It then went on to the final.
Well, surely getting to the third round is a cup run, and that's 3 that's
A
2
cup
games
run,
to get
it
up to that
ended
point.
up extended.
I know, but I'm just saying, yeah. I mean,
when we would have played Man United when we got knocked out by Walsall, was that third round or later
The
on?
League Cup
No, that was FA, I'm sure. It was a Saturday.
may well have been. But we also got knocked out by Middlesbrough in the League Cup. We got Man
Yeah.
United in the semis or the fourth or whatever it was.
It's the semis.
So,
I guess that probably touched on the point you were asking whether it's worth the competition still or not. You know, we keep talking about the possibility of maybe playing Man United in those previous years. So, you know, if someone like that comes along, I know we had Chelsea last year, you know, a United or a Liverpool or something like that, that would be a great thing to have.
I totally love them occasions, but not everyone does. I mean, Tommy's saying that it was the best thing you've said tonight, Adam, about that the league is a massive priority, and also Leanne says as well, agreeing with Adam, that league's the priority.
sister.
Tommy, the only reason I want the cup run is to draw Leicester away. Other than that, no, thank you. I mean, it's interesting point of view, and it has definitely divided. There was a lot of thumbs up. There was a lot of angry faces. So I personally love it.
Yeah, I know. And it's just one thing because you look at it. So if we did go out, we'd have a free weekend in December, and we've always been dodgy in December, haven't we? And it's quite a fact. Like I said, it's just a personal opinion.
And that's what this show is all about, Adam. Personal opinions. Right, let's move
However
on
wrong
to
it may well
the...
be.
Absolutely right, Cal. Let's move on to the Prediction League. So, the Prediction League then is actually sponsored now by Serpentine Green, who have very kindly donated through the top man there, Steve Colson, the prize that will await the winner at the end of the season. The prize, I think, is a really, really good prize. It's this season's signed Posh shirt. What's the matter?
Should have kept it a surprise.
Should have kept it a surprise. I didn't want to. I want more people to take part in it. So make sure you take part in the Prediction League. Get your predictions in to the tweet that Adam will be sending out. But here's the top 10 at the moment. Who's in the lead? So look.
Massive.
Nassif is still there. Nassif's still at the top.
Look at that 5th playoff promotion there. Playoff.
As if you've actually swapped yourself around with
I missed that, what?
Miss
Hey?
what?
Alex has swapped himself in position for you, Ben.
So, Chris, can you just remind people of the scoring that is involved with it, and also, who did well last week? Do you remember?
So yeah, just to clarify, scoring it's 3 points for the correct score, 2 points if you predict the first goal scorer correctly, and 1 point if you get the result. And it's weighted that way as well. So, for example, in the league at the moment, we've got a few people on the same point, so there's more weighting for those getting the correct score than there is correct goal scorer and so on. Last week we had quite a few people actually going for Posh to win, and a lot of people actually backing Madison to score. Although last week was the first time I saw a number of people coming in against us score-wise.
for the first time.
Yeah, a lot of
Fair
people had stuck with Posh winning, even over that dodgy spell.
And it's Aussie on.
Yeah.
So make sure, Chris, sorry, make sure you look out for the tweet that comes out in the next few days.
Yeah, so just because we can't trace everywhere where it goes, we are doing it purely from the tweets Adam puts out or the post on Facebook. You must respond to those. And just to also let people know, because we are taking part in the league as well, if one of us does happen to come top at the end of the season, we will auction off the shirt for free kicks. Dale will auction it off if he comes top, because we don't think it's right for us to take a shirt.
Absolutely no chance for taking that shirt. So thank you very much to Serpentine Green and Steve Colson for that. Good stuff. Right, over to Dell then. We've got the 9 Dart Challenge, the TalkPosh 9 Dart Challenge. Who have we got today, mate?
We have got no other than a former world champion doing a 9 Dart Challenge. When I say world champion, the 2014 youth world champion.
Is it Phil Taylor?
Not just yet.
Personally, I would not ask him.
Let's watch.
Keegan Brown got 300. There is actually no sound on that one, as you can rightly see. But anyway, I hope you saw that. And thanks to Keegan.
Just,
quality. 300 from that. And he goes top of the leaderboard.
Superb effort. If anybody knows Keegan Brown, knows a bit about darts, you probably wouldn't meet a nicer couple. Keegan and his Mrs. Rosa. Lovely people. Obviously, went out their way in, I think, your dad's kitchen to do that. But thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, top man. Thank you very much for that. Right, moving on. Coming up is the Bet of the Week, sponsored by Head to Head Barbers. So get your bets in for Saturday's game. I'm personally going, I think Miller should score on Saturday, and that might be the bet. But anyway, if you've got any other ideas, let us know. But first, it's the conclusion of the TalkPosh pre-DMAC 1-11. So the final piece of the puzzle, as chosen by you guys and completing the already amazing team, which you can see on the screen, is David Seaman in goal, Noel Luke at right back with 2 centre-backs of Chrissy Turner and Gabe Green. Left back is Adam Jury. Right midfield, Bowl Sterling, Mick Halsall and Jimmy Bullard in the middle with Faz on the left. Ken Charlie in striker, and filling in with the striker to go with Ken Charlie is Mr. Bly himself, Terry Bly. So, boys, what do you think of that? I mean, that's a pretty
What I want to
good
know,
team.
and it's a question which I'll put back out to you. Who's captain?
Mickey Halsall.
End up.
Yeah, Mickey Halsall.
Show a quick bite. Mickey Halsall.
Halsall.
I don't argue against these two, Mickey Halsall.
Chrissy Turner or Mickey Halsall for me.
Do you know what? I did forget Turner was there, but Mickey Halsall
I
was
knew Turner was there, but I'll still go Mickey Halsall.
Yeah, I'm not really
You know,
sure.
I messed up.
So I'm Mickey Halsall.
What?
Taylor, don't I?
Good stuff. He messed up.
Yeah.
Adam messed up.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so
That's what I
moving on from this now, and I think this is going to be absolutely brilliant. I'm loving this. So the next sort of TalkPosh 11 that we're going to be doing is the worst of all time. So whether it's before DMAC, whilst DMAC has been there, it's the worst 11 we can think of. So each week we'll be going to different positions and doing the same thing really. So next week we are going for the goalkeeper, which Ben has already said there's only one option for the worst goalkeeper ever.
For the 3 worst goalkeepers in English football history, Scott Cooksey, and Scott Cooksey. That's it. There's no other option with
You got Dean Keeley.
Scott Cooksey, he's a lot better than him.
You got Bart Grimley.
Yeah, that's good.
He's better than Cooksey.
Okay.
Grimley had good games
He
for
did.
us.
All right. You got Joe Neenan.
He was a good keeper who threw games. Throwing games didn't make him a bad
Mate, I'll
keeper.
Teflon Joe.
Save yourself. I think this one will be quite
Mate, we
interesting.
have had some
I
shocking
think it's going to be an
Yeah.
interesting 11.
That's the thing. It's just I don't think anyone's ever been as bad as him. If you were lucky
It
enough
was
to
bad.
never see him in goal, then you were lucky.
This is why this is going to be so brilliant because they're already coming in. We've got Scott Cooksey, said by Kevin Jackson and Paul White. Santos is coming. This is just going to be Benjamin.
Santos has to go in the best team.
Yeah.
This is going to be very,
Honestly,
very fun.
that'd
So
be superb.
watch out
We've
for
sacked people beforehand and we'll sack people again. Watch them out.
I think what we should also do is forget about the formation if we get so many quality sort of different players.
Okay,
Does that make
seven at the
sense?
back or
So we'll
something.
just have a
Possibly.
random formation.
6
We'll
goalkeepers.
see how we get on with
To
that.
be
But
fair, Ben Anik and Paul Jones, they had
Paul
Jones got promoted.
Yeah. It's a pity we didn't sign him, actually, to be honest.
Danny Crowe. Yeah, he played really well in goal.
Danny Crowe. Anyway, yes, so watch out for the tweet that comes out from Adam. He will be letting us all know. Right, first, bet of the week. I don't think we got any bets in.
No,
I've got one for it.
Okay.
5 now.
Posh 2-1 because out of like the last 5 times we played Premier in the Cup, I think we won 2-1 three times.
Right, forget about the cup. I think we should go 5-0.
That's a good stuff, because
we're beating
Because
5-0
we beat 5-0
twice.
twice.
Yeah, beating
in
5-0
recent
twice.
time.
It's not that.
Sorry, Paul Burris. We're going to go 5-0 to Posh, I reckon. Sorry, Chris,
Go
as
for it,
well.
go for it.
That's what we're going to go. Thanks to our sponsors. That is Head to Head Barbers. So thank you very much for that. Just really, really quickly before we go, I know, Ben, you spoke to someone regarding Forrester.
No, when we were up in the sponsors lounge for the last match, someone asked Grant McCann when he came up about Forrester, and he basically brushed it all off. And he said Forrester is still hugely in his plans. He's not going anywhere.
He actually flew back over before Saturday's game as well, so Forrester was there. Even though he wasn't in the squad, he was there.
Yeah, but apparently he's not being released. It's just all rumours. The
There you go.
manager's mouth.
We like a good rumour, though, don't we?
We love a good
We
rumour.
just need Chris Forrester back that was here the Chelsea game through Chelsea.
Hopefully he does come back.
Chris Forrester.
Yeah.
Best performance I've seen in a Posh shirt in years.
Yeah.
Right, good stuff. That's it for tonight. Cheers to our sponsor, Serpentine Green Shopping Centre, Head to Head Barbers, and the spicemarket.co.uk. The lads in the studio, thanks to Alex behind the camera as well, and you at home. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to catch up on the show and other features. Plus, share this live video of the Posh.
Just very quickly.
Oh, sorry.
No, there is one more thing.
Sorry, yeah.
Unfortunately, this morning, Nick Sinclair, who was a lifelong Posh fan, actually lost his battle. So, like I say, he passed away this morning. Sorely missed. Only last season we was having Jaeger bombs at Oxford away. So, last saw him at Northampton at home in the Checkatrade Trophy. He said he was improving, but unfortunately lost his battle this morning. So, rest in peace, Nick. And thank